Today we're going to talk about why boot camp is not the hard part of life in the military. Boot camp is the easiest part of the military to understand. The rules are incredibly simple, even if following them may take a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, a little bit of energy. Basically, the rules at boot camp come down to one thing. If you do what you're told, when you're told, with speed and intensity, and you don't quit, you'll be fine, barring an injury. You don't have to make any decisions. Someone plans your entire day for you, and they loudly tell you exactly when and where you need to move and where you need to move to. The hardest part of boot camp is usually more the emotional side. It's not the physical side. Like, don't get me wrong. If you're incredibly out of shape, the physical side can have, it can be a little bit challenging. For sure. But the job of your recruiters is to prepare you for that so that the physical piece isn't so crazy once you get there. But the emotional side is what usually gets people, right? That's perhaps the first time away from home or family or friends. Perhaps you're homesick. Perhaps there's the uncertainty or fear of the unknown, right? Or maybe, and this is probably very true of younger generations, it might be your first time away from a cell phone. Obviously, the no family, no normal support system, the mental adjustment is what breaks most people. But being away from your phone and your family, probably a big adjustment for a lot of younger people. At the end of the day, boot camp has a finish line. You know that graduation is coming as long as you don't quit and you do what you're supposed to do. That's it. And in fact, at boot camp, when I was in boot camp, at least in the Marine Corps, we basically just counted like wake up, chow, 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 sleep, wake up, chow, 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 sleep, Sunday. And the way we said it in the Marine Corps, at least when I was at boot camp, was chow to chow, Sunday to Sunday, like 13 Sundays, you're done, right? Everything changes once you graduate from recruit training because suddenly you're responsible for yourself again. Now, you'll kind of ease into this because there will be pieces of your training pipeline, whether that's the combat side or the MOS side or whatever, where you're still in student status, you're still going through schools, and you're still basically told when, where, and how to be and arrive everywhere and what to do. So there's still not as much autonomy, but there is some autonomy, some responsibility, and some having to take care of yourself and being responsible for yourself. It's not every single minute of the day anymore, but it's still there. Now, freedom will continue to increase as you go through your time in the military, and that sounds great until you're responsible for the consequences. Because now you actually have to learn your job. You have to be good at your job if you want to get promoted. Passing boot camp doesn't make you good at your MOS. And your performance will matter. You're expected to become competent, not just compliant. You have to be good at what you do rather than just loud and fast, even if you fail, right? At boot camp, you're allowed to fail all you want. In the fleet, in the military, eventually, you have to be considered competent, subject matter expert, or you're going to get passed over for promotion, right? You also have to maintain physical fitness without a drill instructor forcing you to PT every day, and you still have to stay in shape. Even though at recruit training, you are given a very specific amount of food. You're not allowed to eat more. You're not allowed to eat less. You got to finish it all. It is what it is. And you're PTing all the time. And like everything is perfectly designed for your optimum fitness. Once you get to the fleet, diet's on you. Fitness is on you. Like, yes, there will be PT while with your unit, with most units, but that's designed to like maintain. If you really want to stay progressing, you're going to have to do it on your own, right? And you can out-eat your maintaining fitness, right? You got to choose your own friends, right? And those choices can make or break your career. If you choose to hang out with the bags, you're going to become a bag. That's just the nature of the beast. Now you have to work to avoid the classic military traps. Drinking too much, buying a ridiculous car, toxic relationships, partying every other weekend, getting into trouble, right? Service members have a really bad rap, and it is warranted, for like marrying the stripper after dating for 2 weeks because she said she loved you. Buying a car at 20+% interest because the guy right outside the base ripped you off and told you how amazing and loud it was, right? So you are your own worst enemy. It happens all the time. You're probably going to live farther from your home than you've ever been. Maybe, recruit training, but you weren't like out and about, right? So it didn't feel the same as it will now. Hell, you may even get stationed overseas, right? And you're going to have real military responsibilities, duty, field ops, inspections, maintenance, and endless freaking endless working parties, right? All this stuff's going to come up. So you're going to have to juggle everything you want to do in life and all your vices and traps and avoiding all these temptations and who you hang out with and fitness and life and everything else with 24-hour duty, surprise, on your birthday. And then you've got deployments, which are a completely different level of stress than boot camp and can come out of nowhere. And as you get promoted, people are going to stop evaluating how well you follow orders and start evaluating how well you can lead others and how good you are at your job. Eventually, you're going to become responsible for millions of dollars of equipment and sometimes other people's lives. Now, that might sound like I'm exaggerating, but if you were to look at my last promotion reports in the military, we were responsible for moving tens and hundreds of thousands of troops, and the cargo that we were moving was measured in the 100,000 and millions of tons, right? So it absolutely does get to that point. That's a lot of responsibility, and it's on you. You don't have someone breathing down your neck to watch every single thing you do unless you suck, and that's not where you want to be anyway. And the military does get less physically difficult over time, but much more mentally and emotionally demanding, but you're still required and expected to maintain the same level of physical fitness on your own time, even if you don't have the time at work anymore. Look, most careers are not ruined in boot camp. They're ruined through your decisions, your poor decisions or lack of decisions, or just not caring or having the discipline to be productive. The bottom line is this: boot camp teaches you discipline, yes, but the rest of your military career tests whether you actually have it. Because if you don't have discipline, over time in the military, you're going to get out of shape. You're going to make bad choices with friends, bad choices with vehicles and purchases and finances, bad choices with relationships, and all of those things compound to make your life incrementally more complex and more difficult. And then even if you're doing everything right, you may find yourself married with kids, and that just makes everything harder than single at boot camp trying to do only the thing you were told to do and not worry about any other stresses, right? Aside from boot camp, I would say some of the least stressful times I had in the military were on deployment, when there was no drama, no real contact with the outside world, everything was simple. And so everything else just becomes more leadership, more responsibility, more tasks, more distractions, more choices that add up, good or bad. And none of this is bad, right? But I just want to drive home the point for you guys that boot camp's not going to be the hardest part of your career. It's not going to be the most challenging part of your career. And at the same time, while it is incredibly transformational and meaningful, the rest of your time in the military will be even more meaningful if you make the right choices and put your mind to having a successful career in the military. So I just want to encourage you guys to understand, like, boot camp, before you go, there's a lot that you put into it, heart and soul and energy and all the things. At the end of the day, at the bottom of the deepest core of boot camp, do what you're told, when you're told, and move with speed and intensity. As long as you don't quit, you'll be okay.